Oh good, my battery's already only half full. That's great. Guys, do you like my room sweatshirt? A little hint about what I'll be talking about today. Hey guys, welcome to this week's video. So I'm back with another EF Ultimate Break video. I feel like a lot of people really enjoyed my last one, and I said in that video was more of like an overall, do I recommend EF Ultimate Break? The answer is yes, by the way, but still go watch that video to get lots and lots more details. And then I wanted to make a separate video, which is this one, about the specific trip that I went on, telling like the real specific, like nitty-gritty details for anyone who's interested in that trip. Hopefully this helps. So I do want to introduce like what EF Ultimate Break is. So they are a travel company for anyone ages 18 to 35 who can take trips any time of year to pretty much anywhere you can dream of. They are amazing, amazing prices, amazing sales, just an amazing overall company. I am an ambassador with them, but all of these opinions and reviews and everything I'm saying is like my own and my own experience and everything. But of course, like I said in my last video, I wouldn't have become an ambassador with them if I didn't enjoy the company themselves. So with that, I do have a coupon code for you guys. It's going to be UAEden100 for $100 off, and be sure to use the link as well connected to that code that'll be in the description box below. You get $100 off your first trip with them. Could not recommend them enough, honestly. So let's just get into the trip that I went on. So the trip that I went on the website is titled Rome, Paris, and London, but it's kind of backwards from like the order that you go and start in London, then you go to Paris, then you go to Rome. So if you are interested in that trip, this video is perfect for you. I'm gonna basically be breaking it down day by day, what we did on the trip, what was included, what I added that I would recommend, just my overall experience and everything. So I do have it split, so I'm gonna be looking at my iPad a lot because I have everything written down. It's a lot of information. We're starting with just like the trip basic. The transportation that you take is, I flew out from Chicago to London, and then as a group, that's like the only time you're really traveling on your own is like when you're going to and from your home country. But as a group, then you travel on the train from, you know, like the underwater, kind of, not really, it's more like underground train from London to Paris, and then from Paris as a group you take a plane to Rome, and then after Rome is when you're, you know, on your own again. I also do want to say I did take the Plus trip, so that has a little bit different things included with it. You stay in hotels versus hostels, and I talk more about Plus versus, you know, like the basic trips in my last EF Ultimate Break video, more in depth as well. We'll say from that, I do recommend taking a Plus trip, but that is also the only one that I've ever been on. This is the Plus version of this trip that I am talking about, just so we're all clear on that. Included in my trip was hotels, transportation, like the planes, the trains, all the buses like around the cities and everything. You get breakfast at every hotel. We got free breakfast every morning at our hotel. You obviously just have to wake up in time for it and make sure you get it down before you have to be out the door with your group. And then you get, with the Plus trip, you get 3 dinners included versus a basic trip, you only get about 2. So, but I'm gonna stop talking about the verses. I'm just gonna talk about what's included in this one. So 3 dinners included, a welcome dinner, a farewell dinner, and then just another dinner in Paris, which was the middle city. That is everything, like kind of like the basics of what is included in your trip. I also forgot to mention that it is an 11-day, 10-night trip through all these 3 cities. And so now I'm gonna be taking it day by day, kind of telling you, not exactly, but just like general how the day went, and like giving you guys like what I did with my free time and everything. So day 1, they consider day 1 being your overnight flight to London. That's, you know, day 1, it's basically a whole day of traveling, which is nice because you can just sleep on the plane. So that's day 1. Day 2 is when we landed in London and we get picked up from the airport by a transportation service. So that is so nice. You don't have to stress about trying to take public transportation or like getting a cab or whatever from the airport to your hotel. You just look for a driver that's holding up your name and you go to them and they take you to the correct hotel. And I was with 2 other people in my group, so that was nice. Like, you're not just alone with this driver in a foreign country. You're with other people from your group as well. It's just, you know, a smaller group. Like for me, it was just 3 of us in the car. Get to the hotel, you check in, meet your tour guide in person for the first time. You've been, you know, the months leading up to it, you're kind of in this big group chat with everyone. He or she, your tour guide, is talking you through that and giving you, you know, stuff in that. But you get to meet them for their first time. And since London was our first city, we got our Oyster cards, which is like their version of a Metro card. You know, like you take the tube train, and they came preloaded. I can't remember exactly how much was on it, but you do get basically free tube trips, which is so nice. And obviously if you need more, you can reload it, but I never had to, and I went all the way to Wembley Stadium, which is decently far. It's about an hour on the tube from London, like central London, and I still never ran out of, you know, the money on the Oyster cards. I didn't even realize that that was included, so that was a nice perk when I got there. You don't have to spend any extra money on the tube, comes included. Then after that, you go to your room, you meet your roommate if you have one. You can room by yourself, that's extra money, or obviously if you are traveling with a partner, you would be rooming with them. And then after that, I'd say, because I got there, I don't even know what time I landed. We landed about an hour later than we were supposed to, and I want to say honestly, I like didn't get fully like settled into my room until like after 3 p.m. on that like second day. So I had about like maybe 2 to 3 hours to just like relax. I showered, got changed and everything for dinner. Tour guide gives you a time to meet down the lobby. He kind of, you know, we all introduced ourselves as a group and we all met each other for the first time, and he kind of went over how everything was gonna work. And then he took us to the nearest tube station, showed us how everything worked, how to get there, explained everything, how everything worked. And then we took the tube to the welcome dinner, and it just helped get our bearings and like, you know, what was around the hotel, how to use the tube, how to get to it, just things like that. So that was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that, and I'm just like so glad that I did that, because if I were to just like go to London by myself, I never would have figured all that out by myself. I feel like I was so scared to leave the hotel at first, and I was like, oh my god, I don't even want to go to this dinner. It was perfect because it was a group of us and we were all pretty much in the same boat, you know. It was just nice to, you know, get out as a group and get out of my comfort zone. So then technically day 3, but our first full day in London was the group walking tour around the city. So that we met as a group as well, took the tube to, I don't remember exactly, it was somewhere near Buckingham Palace, and we met with our tour guide who, you know, expert in the city, has lived in the city, and he, you know, walked us through around. Like, we walked so much on that day. We saw Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey, saw the London Eye from afar. He took us on the tube a little bit, took us like to London Bridge, not Tower Bridge, the actual London Bridge, and we ended by, what is that place called, guys? Borough Market. That's where we ended. I could not think of it because I actually didn't end up getting to go in, which I'm so sad about. Group walking tour, I want to say it was like about 2-ish hours. I could be so wrong, but that's what it feels like, you know, thinking back on it. So anyone who didn't sign up for the afternoon excursion in London, go to Borough Market, could go obviously wherever, but that was just like a good place to end to get lunch and stuff. Except we, the people who signed up for the London Eye excursion, we then had to go to the London Eye as a group. We didn't really have too much. I guess we did get a little break to like eat some food and stuff. I definitely highly recommend doing the London Eye, even though, you know, it's like a touristy thing, obviously, but I enjoy doing that kind of thing, and it's a pretty neat view. Even if you're scared of heights, do it. I'm terrified of heights, and I was totally fine. I just sat on the little bench in the middle of the pod the entire time. I peeked a little bit over, but just see a lot of the city from it, and it's just, you know, it's like you gotta do it while you're there. At least that's how I felt. I was like, I'm scared of heights, but I can't just not go on the London Eye while I'm in London. So that was part of the excursion, and then, so it's the whole excursion itself is the London Eye plus the River Tea cruise. So then after the Eye, was it after the Eye that we got to eat? It was somewhere in between there that we got to, you know, go to whatever restaurant we wanted in that little area. We all had to meet up to go to the boat for the tea cruise, which was so fun. Again, I highly recommend this excursion. You get on this like fancy little boat, like it's so nice. You're like indoors, so it's air conditioned because it was really hot that day. So you're cruising down the Thames River, guys, and you know, you just go up and down all of, you know, the river that spans London, and you see Big Ben, you go past the London Eye again. It's so cool. You get tea. I'm not a huge tea drinker, but they had like a fruit, you know, hibiscus tea, which is almost like, you know, like a Starbucks refresher type vibe. So I had that and it was really good. They had like tiers of like, you know, little tea cakes and snacks and stuff, like the basic like stuff you see, you know, on TV of like, you know, British tea time. Like that's like literally what it was, and it was so cool. So we were in the bottom part, and then you could go up, I guess anytime you wanted, but towards the end we all went up to the top deck and like looked out over the city and took pictures and stuff. We got pictures like in front of Big Ben from the river, which was so cool. Highly recommend that excursion. And then after that, you just have your free time, which you would have had if you didn't do the excursion, but you just have more free time. So that night I actually booked a West End show because I saw that Mamma Mia was there, and I love the movie Mamma Mia. Like that's like one of my favorite movies ever, but I've never seen the like original play version of it. So like, while I'm here, I need to see it. Plus 2 of the actors in it kind of like went viral-ish on TikTok, and I remember like watching videos of them like a year ago, like even more than a year ago at this point, and I was like, oh my god, those, like, they're just so cool. Like I love them. They're such good actors and they have like really good chemistry and stuff. And I saw that they were, you know, gonna be there when I was there, and I got tickets, one ticket for myself, but luckily some other people in my group that night were also seeing a West End show, so we all kind of just went together, and we got McDonald's afterwards. Yes, I had McDonald's in London and Paris. It's just interesting to see what other countries have at their McDonald's as well. Day 4 is a full free day in London to do whatever you want, and there's a million things to do in London. Like there's so much that I didn't get to see and do. I need to go back there like ASAP. But this day I chose to see Taylor Swift in concert, which was amazing, and I don't regret it for a second. I'm so glad that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone to travel an hour by tube on my own to see her, because the night before I was freaking out in my hotel room, like, I don't think I can do this, like, what if I get lost, what if I whatever, but I did it. So the morning I woke up and went with a few people from my group to see the changing of the guards beforehand, which they actually played Shake It Off up by the palace because Taylor was in London that day, but we weren't up by the palace, we were like down on the mall, the mall as they call it, just watching the guards like march up to the palace. So we missed that, but it's okay. And then after that I did some souvenir shopping, just like went around London on my own, souvenir shopping, picked up some snacks for waiting in line for Taylor, and then yeah, spent the rest of the day traveling to Wembley Stadium and waiting in line and seeing Taylor Swift and traveling back. So that was my full free day in London. Day 5 is traveling to Paris. So you have an early morning wake up call, you all meet down in the lobby, you know, make sure everyone's there, you have to be on time. So from the hotel, you all get on a big coach bus to St. Pancras station. So then you get on the train. I want to say like a 2-ish hour ride. It went by really fast, honestly. Like, I was kind of just sitting there chilling. I was gonna read, but I was just kind of eating snacks, listening to a podcast. So you get off the train in Paris, and then you're picked up by another coach bus there that takes you as a group to your hotel. And then kind of same as London, you have like, there we had a little bit less time. It was about like an hour to shower and change and get ready for our dinner in Paris, which was so nice. That was some of the best food I ate in the trip, I want to say. The mashed potatoes from the restaurant we went to was insane. I'm like, those are the best mashed potatoes ever, and that I will ever eat in my entire life. And I need to go back to that restaurant if I ever go back to Paris again. And then after that included, so not an excursion, but like included in the whole trip, is a Seine cruise on the river, which I just, you know, taking a nice little, all these cities, all these European cities have like big rivers through them that you can just like cruise down. That was nice. There was also a bar on that boat. You could see, you know, giant windows. You could either go to the top deck or the lower deck. You cruise down the Seine, past the Eiffel Tower. We witnessed was it a gender reveal or was it a proposal? I'll put the video on the screen, but like, I think I got a video. I think it was a gender reveal because it was like the powder. That was really cool. But yeah, so that's like your first time that you really see the Eiffel Tower as well. The Eiffel Tower is just like, I love it. I love it so much. After that, you have free rest of the night. I went to the Eiffel Tower with a few of my group members and we just kind of like hung around, saw it sparkle, kind of walked around, checked out, kind of just like scoped it out. So that was nice, you know, took pictures and stuff. Some people I think actually also went up the tower. Day 6 was, all the cities are structured the same way. So then day 6 was a tour of the city. It was mostly on a coach bus. We kind of got taken around, and then the tour guide was at the front of the bus with a microphone, you know, pointing stuff out the windows, and every once in a while we'd stop. Like, we stopped at Jardin du Luxembourg Garden, and then we kind of ended by the Arc de Triomphe. Yeah, so just, we really went like all over the city. It was a really long tour and it was really interesting. A lot of history and just like explaining like how the city itself works, like the arrondissements, all the stuff. Like, I don't even remember everything, but ended at the Arc de Triomphe. We could get out, take pictures, and then if you signed up for the Palace of Versailles excursion, then you got back on the bus and went there. And then I think if you didn't sign up, you kind of just like stayed there, and then you had free time the rest of the day. It was really pretty. It was so busy because it was the middle of summer, so obviously every single tourist ever is there, and just so hot because there's not really any air conditioning in there. At that point, I think I was also just like really tired from the day of travel before. So Versailles excursion, you get a tour of Versailles. You're with the same tour guide from the bus, and she took us through Versailles as well. You get kind of some free time there. We all bought some macarons at the end, and that was really fun. After Versailles, again, it's still, you know, free time for anyone after that, but my tour guide was really nice. He went above and beyond this entire trip, and he kind of organized. He's like, okay, whoever wants to, like, you know, doesn't have much to do, or just like wants something different to do, we'll all meet in the lobby. And then he took us to Montmartre, where it's like walking up a billion stairs, and it's like a whole workout. Like, he did not warn us how many stairs there were, I will say. I'm like, we were all like, dude, how many more stairs are there? And they just kept coming. He took us to a really good little crepe restaurant, and then we all kind of split up into smaller groups after that. Some of us went to the Sacré-Cœur, like the Basilica. That was beautiful. Looked out over the city, like gorgeous, stunning views. And then we kind of just walked around a little bit, and we stopped at like this really super cute place for dinner. Like, such good food, such good drinks. It's like a perfect little Parisian night. I loved it so much. So now on to day 7. So day 7 was our full free day in Paris. And so this day, me and a few of the girls decided to do a lot of shopping, and more like high-end shopping, because there's really good like designer shopping. I didn't do too much damage, but I did buy a Polen bag. I love it. That was like one one thing I was planning on buying on the trip. I'm like, I love this bag so much, and it was just so cool to be able to go into the store and like buy it in Paris. That day we also went to the Louvre. We all coordinated beforehand in the group chat. I was like, hey guys, I'm going to the Louvre at 1 p.m. on this day. Whoever else wants to go can buy a ticket for the same time and join me. So that was really nice that a few other people did. At night, most of us in the group met in the lobby and went to the Eiffel Tower. We stopped at a little grocery store before, got some, you know, we each got like our own bottle of wine and little picnic snacks and everything. And we just had a picnic in front of the sparkling Eiffel Tower. And that was one of my absolute favorite memories of the trip. Like, you have to do it if you go to Paris. You have to have a picnic in front of the tower. It's so good. So day 8, you again wake up early, make sure you're on time. You're bused to the airport, Charles de Gaulle Airport, fly to Rome as a group. Yeah, again, land in Rome, coach bus to the hotel, so you don't have to worry about getting in the hotel by yourself. That was our shortest, like quickest turnaround. There wasn't a dinner that night, but a lot of us booked. My battery just died and it made a weird noise and it scared me. So there wasn't an included dinner that night because the third dinner was the farewell dinner on the very last night, but a bunch of us booked tickets to tour inside the Colosseum. I want to say around 6, and I don't think we got to the hotel till like basically 5 p.m. So that was like the quickest turnaround that we had. Oh, I want to say in Paris we also got little Metro cards. I forget how theirs works, but you also get Metro cards there, and Metro cards, whatever they do, in Rome as well. So you're pretty much all set for any public transportation needs, but you know, if you want to take like a taxi or whatever, you would have to do that, you know, pay for it on your own. The first night in Rome, a bunch of us had to leave really quick, so the tour guide kind of gave us a quick rundown on how to use the Rome subway. Went there, toured the Colosseum. It's just the history there is insane. Rome was, however, the hottest and like warmest, most crowded city of the entire tour, but obviously that just depends on, you know, what time of year you go. I went towards the end of June, so that's obviously a huge like tourism time. So that was that first day, and our tour guide actually organized a little group dinner that night as well, because we all loved our group dinners so much. He was like, well, I can like call a restaurant and get us in as a group, but then we each had to like pay him cash, obviously, since that wasn't included in, you know, trip package. So that was a very nice perk from my tour guide, at least. So he was just amazing. So day 9, again, the walking tour. So the walking tour in Rome was only of the Roman Forum, actually, which is the like, you know, area around the Colosseum of all the ruins and everything. That was so cool. There's so much history there as well. Again, it was just so hot and like unbearably just humid, and yeah, be sure to bring sunglasses and sunscreen. Like, that's something you just cannot forget to bring in Rome. Very interesting. And then we kind of like went a little bit area of the city. Then you could either split up because there was free time or an excursion, and the excursion in Rome was a pasta making class, and I want to say every single person in the group signed up for this, if I remember correctly. At least it was like 99% of us signed up for this. So probably one of my favorite excursions. You make pasta from scratch by a professional chef. It was so cool. You like knead the dough, you cut the noodles, and then they like boil it for you and bring it to you plated with sauce. That sauce was so good. I'm just like, I want the recipe. It was so good. You get a little glass of wine with it. Like, you get like this whole little meal with this excursion, which was so nice. And I did sign up for every single excursion that I could, because like I'm not missing anything. And then after that was more free time. So me and the girls did a little bit more shopping. We found this like little mall. We went to the Trevi Fountain, and then me and one other girl were like pooped out. Like, we stopped at a little cafe and got a snack, but after that we were like, okay, we're dead. So we went back to the hotel, while some other girls went to the Spanish Steps and all that, which that's the one thing I didn't get to see in Rome, was the Spanish Steps. And I do regret that. Like, I wish I would have taken the time to go see them. It was just this point of the trip, I was so dead, and I was like, I just need to sleep and just rest. That night, again, another thing that the tour guide organized was a little like clubbing night for us, because we were supposed to do that in London, but that just like didn't end up working out. So in Rome, he brought us to like this little outdoor bar, which was so cool. We all got a drink. From that, he walked us to like this club. It was at like I want to say it was like before 11 p.m. that we got there, so it was dead. We were the only ones there, which was kind of fun though, because as a group, like, we were just dancing and like getting drinks and stuff, and it was, you know, it wasn't like crowded, packed club yet, so that was nice. People, you could leave, we all came and went as we pleased. Because then the next day was our full free day in Rome, but if you signed up for the Vatican excursion, that was that day, and I signed up for that. And so at 8 a.m. we were on a bus to the Vatican after clubbing that night before. But it's part of the experience. Like, I feel like that's just the European experience. The Vatican was so cool. I like to consider it that I saw 4 countries because the Vatican is technically its own country. So, you know, really cool. You can like mail postcards from there because they have their own post office, obviously. You go through all of the, you know, different churches. You see, you know, like the paintings on the ceilings and everything. And it's just such a surreal experience and just really cool. Make sure you have the proper clothes for that though, because they won't let you in if you have like your shoulders exposed. Like I wore like a long skirt, like you can't have your legs exposed or your shoulders or your feet, so don't wear sandals either. Yeah, such a cool experience. And then after that, I want to say it lasted till about lunchtime. And so you had the whole rest of the day as a free day. Me and a few other girls stopped at this little local pizza place by our hotel. Got some authentic Italian pizza. So good. I dream of that pizza. It was just a margarita pizza that I got, but it was so good. I ate the entire thing. I was so hungry. And then I napped until the farewell dinner. So again, you know, you're given it time to meet in the lobby. It was like just down the street from our hotel that we had the farewell dinner at. So we all walked there together and my tour guide was so nice. He, at each of our places, like placemats, were like group pictures that we took on the trip and then little magnets and souvenirs from each city that he got for each of us, which was like so nice, above and beyond. It was like sad and we all went around saying like either what our favorite part of the trip was or like what we learned. Just like you could say anything. Like I don't even remember what I said. You get to be really close with all the people on your trip. And then day 11 is your travel day home. I traveled, I think I calculated it, and it was like a full 24 hours that it took me to get home, because now I actually flew from Rome back to London. I was supposed to have like an hour or so layover, but my flight took off late from Rome and I barely made my flight in London. Went home from there and it was a whole 24 hours by the time I had stepped foot in my house. But I will say I did get upgraded at Heathrow Airport, so that was a plus, but like free upgrade. So that is what every single day looked like just in general and what I chose to do with my time on every single day. So I talked a little bit about the excursions. Like I said, I do definitely recommend every single one. Every trip on EF Ultimate Break has some sort of excursion that you can take at extra cost to the original package, but I recommend purchasing during one of their really good sales. Like I bought it during the Black Friday sale. Like I bought my trip during the Black Friday sale. So basically I got my excursions for free because I saved that money with the sale, if that makes sense. And again, use my code for even more money off. It was the London Eye and Tea River Cruise in London, Versailles in Paris, and then Rome had 2 excursions, which was the pasta making class. If you had to pick just one, do the pasta making class. Like it's so good and so yummy. And then also the little morning at the Vatican was a separate excursion in Rome. Highly recommend all of them. Good experiences and good like bonding experiences with your group members as well. Okay, now I just kind of have etc. like extra other tips at the end of this video to give you guys. No matter how much research I did or whatever leading up to this trip, these are just some things that like maybe I didn't figure out until actually being on the trip, or just things that I wish I knew before going into this trip. And this can apply to, you know, any trip going out of the country. Number 1 is exchange your currency when you get there, unless you have a super easy way to do it at your home bank and like super easy and cheap way to do it at your home bank. Just do it when you get there. There's ATMs as soon as you step foot into the airport. You take your debit card and you use it at an ATM and you can get cash out in the country. Maybe it's not the best conversion rates at the airport, but I didn't see too, like, I really didn't think it was that bad personally. Obviously make sure you're paying attention to that stuff so you're not getting ripped off. That was one thing I was stressing about. I was like, how am I gonna get cash money? Which you don't need too much of it, but it's always definitely good to have and good for tipping your tour guides and your, you know, main group tour guide at the end of the trip. Yeah, that's just one thing. Like there's ATMs everywhere. Don't stress about getting cash. Pack in bags slash, you know, like duffel bags or like backpacks if possible. I took a small carry-on hard shell suitcase plus a duffel bag, and it wasn't too bad until we got to Rome. Rolling that suitcase over the cobblestone roads was a little rough. So if you can possibly pack lighter and pack in like, you know, bags that you can just carry on your person, highly recommend, but that's not always possible. And I had extra room for souvenirs in my suitcase, so it was worth it for me to bring that suitcase, but it just wasn't the, you know, overall smoothest possible travel experience. And again, keep room, like if you're planning on buying souvenirs, obviously don't bring full bags, full suitcases. Like I saved literally half of my carry-on for souvenirs and like stuff I was gonna be buying. So there's lots of early mornings and late nights and lots of walking on this trip specifically. It's so worth it. Like it's so worth it, but you're just very much walking a ton. If you want to see everything, it's what you have to do. And I just found myself being very hungry all the time because, you know, you're walking off all the food that you ate. So when you get the chance, eat as much as you can, get snacks, get breakfast at the hotel, maybe grab an extra like muffin or whatever from the hotel to bring with you during the day, stop at a convenience store, grab, you know, a quick bite to eat. That was just one thing that I struggled with a little bit more towards the beginning of the trip, nourishing myself and making sure I had enough energy to keep going throughout the day. Do research on extras and what you want to do in your free time beforehand. I had my whole itinerary fully planned out and I didn't end up doing like probably even half of it because I had so much stuff packed in there. I'm like, there's no way I'm actually gonna ever do all that, but I just wanted to have ideas of things I might want to do or see in each city. Plus, you know, when you get there with your group members, they might want to do something and you're like, oh wait, that actually sounds way more interesting, or you want to do that instead. So there's just, you know, lots of leeway there, but make sure you do have like, you know, your own little list of things that you for sure don't want to miss. Bring a water bottle everywhere if possible. I just had like a plastic like smart water bottle, not like some people did carry like hard, you know, metal water bottles. If you're going in the summer, it gets hot, and in Rome they actually have like water fountains literally everywhere of like clean, pure, beautiful, ice cold water. Buy any museum tickets, any like experience tickets. Like I bought my West End tickets, my Louvre tickets, my Colosseum tickets all ahead of time, about a month in advance. For the Louvre, you definitely want to buy like a month to 2 months in advance. I definitely regret not bringing melatonin. Also, liquid IV. I did bring liquid IV and I drank that a few days, just not as many as I probably should have, as well as like little caffeine, you know, drink mix sticks. I didn't bring any of those, but I kind of wish I would have. I did get coffee a few days, but that I just needed more caffeine on the trip. Oh yeah, I think I said this, but sleep on the plane there, because it's probably gonna be your last full night's sleep until the trip is over, because you're just gonna want to be going. Yeah, so that, I've been talking for so long, but that is the Rome, Paris, and London EF Ultimate Break trip. So overall, of course, I highly recommend this trip. It was life-changing, amazing. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Do your research, plan everything out that you can beforehand, and I highly recommend going on an EF Ultimate Break trip. It's definitely worth your money. Again, use my code UAEden100 for $100 off, as well as use the link in the description box below to get that discount as well. Yeah, let me know if you guys are thinking about taking this trip, if you've been on it, if you know, have been looking into it, if you're thinking about doing EF Ultimate Break. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you guys next week for another one. Bye.